For a long time, you just sit in your haven, lost in your thoughts, remembering how you once thought your world has ended with her living, whining. Sure, but it seems like it was prescient whining. Okay, now we can go and do something. Somebody's watching me. Part 2. Walking down the night street near your haven, you suddenly spot a young, disheveled woman leaning against the wall. She looks you straight down and disappears into an alley. She is your stalker, you are certain of it. You take a few running steps to catch up with her, determined to find out what this is all about. Ducking into the alley, you come upon a grisly scene. An old man, a pensioner really, lies broken on the ground, telltale puncture marks on his neck, driven by stand-up pole, the calves licking the lips. All were embraced young, 2 men and a woman, black hoodies, bicycle chain, a vicious tattoo. You have never seen them before. You assume you know why. They're Anarchs. Hey, it's a Camarilla fucker, just as promised. And I'm beating up these privileged little shits. You walk into the simplest ambush in the world. The woman you saw briefly at the mouth of the alley is nowhere in sight. Perhaps that shouldn't be surprising given her obvious powers of invisibility. Run away and say bye. You know what, let's do this another night. Bye. There's a chain link fence at the end. Ollie, you engage the power of your blade and run right past the Anarchs, crossing over the fence. They run in pursuit and one has supernatural speed too. However, she struggles to keep up as you slip from alley to alley, take a shortcut through a small park and vanish into the subway. It is difficult to keep up with vampire speed even if you have similar powers. Once you emerge back above the ground, you wonder what this means. Your mysterious stalker was clearly willing to endanger the masquerade to get you beaten up. Or maybe she was trying to observe how you would react in case of being led into that kind of ambush. I would choose to run away. We have 3 of them right there, and I don't think he's strong enough to take care of them all at once. Yet it didn't feel like they were going to kill you. Whatever it was, your reflex saved you from a face full of hurt. The hunger calls to you. You find yourself among the tall buildings and sprawling streets of New York City and can't help but think how rotten it all is, and the worst thing, you're part of this system. Suddenly Sophie's patroness is unveiled, and you see it for what it is. Indentured servitude. She has control over your life now, and there's no good reason for it. The people you pass on the street all smug. They think they're better than you. They're out to use you, exploit you, hurt you. You feel the need to assault anything with a pulse and drink deep of their lifeblood. You compose yourself. The rational mind, fearing Black and Brujah, the masquerade temporarily winning over the beast in its compulsions. It won't last unless you feed. You need to quench this hunger before it overtakes you and makes you lose control. Knock, knock, knock. You would ask who's there, but you don't know it. The strap New York said it would play along. When you open the door, you see him toying with the carcass he's holding in his hand. Ready to go, fletching? You don't feel you are, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent, stick close. He leads you down to the vehicle he has parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel, literally and figuratively. Everything is just the way you remember it, down to the rearview mirror, reflecting an intense stare of your guide. However, the trip itself feels notably different. The last time Kate was driving you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your whole life. This time he's pulling you back into it. All the things you wanted to say to Jessica keep running through your head. Let me tell you how it's going to go. As I said, I've arranged a meeting between you and your kin. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you from a safe distance, make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I reiterate just so you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that would violate the Masquerade Don't establish some secret routes of contact. I will know. Do treat it. That's the last time you two meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. Here's your story. You'll find yourself on the crossroad. Decide to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable. The rent is too high. They have heard it all. You were ready to leave New York for good when you have heard those absurd rumors about you taking your own life, so you have decided to set your racket straight. He gives you a knowing look and close the curtains on your relationship once and for all on your terms. The car makes a sudden turn. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be so kind and make me regret it. You can sense he's going out of his way for you, but doesn't try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see if you were worthy of his aid. Well, here. You take a look around to recognize your destination. He was right. It is a familiar place. It's that club. The one you met your future sire in when trying to forget about Jess. This is where they have last seen poor Sir Camarilla. Who knows whatever might have happened to him. One Jessica Lowe is trying to find out. She's got a tip from an anonymous source saying that you might appear here tonight. Wouldn't want to disappoint the lady, would you? She's apparently quite distraught. He turns off the engine and relaxes comfortably in his seat. You silently leave the car and head straight for the club. The last time you were headed this way, you still had a pulse. Feels almost nostalgic. There's a party getting started and some rookie DJs trying to read the crowd. You begin to look for Jess. You wonder what should be the first thing you say to her. Why did you let me die? I argued. You really took me for a suicidal type? Yeah, that should work. The music is pulsing, and there are good vibes in the air. You spot a girl hurrying to the bathroom with a nosebleed that smells faint, but it gets you in the mood to have some fun. However, Quad did indicate he's got a pair of eyes around his subject. Better stick to the plan. A stupid idea pops up in your head. If you met her and she said, I want to be with you again, what would you do? Have one last good night before leaving. Find a way for her to become a vampire. Okay, you want to have sex with her one last time. Reject the idea immediately. What's done is done. Best not to dwell on it. Right now it feels like you have explored all over the place Jess could have been in. It's getting frustrating. You grab the cheapest drink they have on the bar. A tall blonde girl in a stylish skirt smiles at you from behind. Heart-shaped glasses. It's my bag. But this is no time for the heart to guide the hand. You walk past it. Back to your duty. You mimic taking a sip of your drink. God, you could have been having so much fun tonight, you kid. Accidentally stumbles into Jessica when you least expect it. Ye looks at you as if she has seen a ghost. You freeze up trying to come up with something to say and failing. The last few years of your life flash before your eyes. Wait, what was the line you have decided to open the conversation with? Before you remember, a powerful slap takes you out of your stupor. You stupid motherfucker. As she gets the first line, you realize you have spilled your drink over your clothes. I've been so worried. I've been so fucking worried. Called everyone I knew to look for you, and you're just having fun clubbing. You thought it would be funny to drop all contact with everyone, pretend something happened to you. What? You wanted to see my reaction? She laughs. She slaps you once again. You let some sort of dissociation set in and just watch the situation as it unfolds. I'll let everybody know you're okay, but don't you ever show yourself in front of me again. She turns back on you and disappears in the crowd, walking towards the exit. You look around. You notice a heart-shaped glass girl chugging in the distance. You're no longer in a mood to party. Guess you'll follow Jessica's lead and leave. Better not to keep the sheriff's waiting. Well, at the very least you can say this. She still cares. That's nice. Back to Cody's car. Once you close the door, he instantly puts his foot on the gas pedal. Walking off the pitch with no regrets, said everything you had to say. You speak up without thinking. Yeah, she said she would call off the search. Getting her to accept it. overtook some harsh words, but deep down I think she knows time to say farewell once and for all. She's a little shaken up, but she will live. You spot a playful spark in Carter's eyes. You took care of it like a man, did you? Very good. The people we knew in life have this tendency to briefly reappear in our own lives. One night, let's say 20 years from now, she might spot you on the street. You won't have aged a day from now, and even though she will tell herself that kind of you, she'll be jealous. And if you look happy, she will feel regret over what could have been. So for the sake of the night, your paths cross once again. I hope you'll search for your own happiness. The car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Curtis a good hard look. Thank you. It doesn't feel like a, how should you call it, very vampire thing to say, but you say it nevertheless. He is visibly taken aback, with his usually furrowed brow smoothing out to a moment, and he takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expressions. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy's still here, and without doubt he will go back to decapitating suckers like you anytime now. The car starts slowing down. We're here. You look out the window and see your haven. Take care, I see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your haven, thinking about Cartier. Can't say you're fond of him. But with the welcome he gave you and all, but after tonight you can't say you aren't either. You're gonna need some time to understand him, that's for sure. The hunger calls to you. Okay, web over. We have one last time. I need to feed, otherwise I'm going to get fucked here. Let's go and visit Tameka. Once again, you cross the gate at Prospect Park and head straight for where you last saw the Pharaoh duo. Minutes pass, finding no sign of Tameka, you begin to worry that something might have happened to her. Suddenly you hear rustling coming from the nearby bushes, and it's not the stray cat kind of rustling either. You know I can hear you, right? The rustling stops abruptly for a second. Suddenly the bush part and the growl was desperate, trying to look confident. Yeah, that's only because I want you to. Listen, I want to have a word before Tam gets here. She seems to like you for whatever strange reason, but the way I said you're a nuisance at best. And what's your threat? You don't like me, got it? Forgive me if I don't lose any sleep over it. You should, because when I don't like someone, I do something about it. And it's usually not pleasant. Tamika is my sister in every sense of the word that counts. Anything happens to her that I find even remotely your fault, I'll come in after you. Exactly. She doesn't need a baby sister. Don't think she needs you babysitting her. Or she's plenty capable. Given the opportunity, she'll rip your guts off if you cross her. What I'm saying is, anything happens to Tamika, I'm holding you accountable. All of a sudden, the sound of footsteps reached your ears. It's just faint enough to not be ostentatious, but still loud enough to hear. You can tell whoever's approaching wants to make their presence known. Both you and Raul turned just in time to see Tameka emerge from behind an old sycamore tree. It's hard to tell just how long she's been listening in on your conversation. In any case, she walks up and speaks, addressing no one in particular. Did I miss anything? Your brother's worried about you. He seems to think I'm a bad influence. Aww. In an instant, her voice goes from mockingly sweet to stern and unyielding. Her next word sounds like a challenge. Is that true, Raul? Do you think I can't take care of myself? God damn it, Tam. That's not what this is about. You know it. I know, big brother. You meant well. You always mean well. But screw it. Why do I even bother? And with that, Raul takes his leap. Tamika waits in silence just long enough to make sure he can no longer hear her and address you. I have a favor to ask. I like my favors returned. But just so that we're clear, when I do favors, I expect to be paid in kind. Her face remains motionless, if not for the slightest twitch of the eye. It's almost unnoticeable, but it tells you all you need to know. You have just made a fool of yourself. Right. I have an errand to run. I was hoping you would come with me. There's a place east up here. It's a short walk. We should be back in about 2, maybe 3 hours. 3 hours, you call that short. Sorry I'm used to much longer distance than that. I forgot not everyone is. You think you can handle it? Should I expect trouble? Sounds kinda shady. Should I be expecting trouble? You should always expect trouble. But I'm not planning to start any. And so you should head towards the parking lot, accompanied by Tamika and a lot of unanswered questions. Following her directions, you will finally arrive at the Evergreens Cemetery, one of the oldest burying grounds in Brooklyn. You enter through the southwestern gate and follow your companion through the sea of tombstones. It's a nice enough place as far as graveyards go, much less homogeneous than the usual flat field littered with identical markers. Tamika confidently pressed on, swerving and weaving along a pre-programmed path. It's clear she has been here more than a few times. Finally, she takes a sharp left and takes a few more steps down a gravel walkway, coming to a sudden stop in front of Modest headstone. The inscription reads, Lucas Santiago, beloved sister and daughter, born 1991, taken from us too soon. With her eyes fixed on the gravesite, she lets out an absent-minded utterance. I need a moment alone, not long, 5 minutes at most. Look around in search of a good spot to wait for a pastime. On the far end of a nearby lawn, you notice a lone bench situated under a whipping willow. Suddenly, you hear voices slowly approaching. Judging by the tone and timbre, you are guessing it's a couple of teenagers out to get their late-night kicks among the dearly departed. Might be a good chance to feed. Then again, you could just pass the time walking around the area. It's actually quite nice in a dark and somber kind of way. Fitting opportunity, the teenagers. Take your time. I think I'll go grab myself a drink. Just do it quietly. I don't want any trouble. Not here. You leave Tameka alone and follow the voice. Soon after, you come upon a couple in their late teens. Judging by the thick eyeliner in their clothes, consisting mostly of black leather and lace, you would venture a guess that they would love nothing more than to meet an actual vampire. You're happy to oblige. As you emerge from the shadows, you can feel your awe intensify. The boy and the girl watch you complete awestruck, waiting for you to approach. The slightest gesture is enough to shoo the boy away. He sits on a nearby bench and watches, completely enamored as your slit pressed against the girl's neck. It's a weird sensation to feel actually honest to God, pride, and victim's blood. Here you are. She's glad to have been chosen in this way. You decide there's no good reason to discriminate and also take a sip on the guy. His beer was pretty terrible, but the taste of his blood isn't half bad. Hoping the teens' post-kiss days will make your face just an impression in their memory. You leave them on the bench just as they let the excited hormones run wild and start making out furiously. You half expect quite dear to materialize, sword in hand, to do with these loose ends, or with you, for leaving them to roam like you did. You need to be more careful in the future. Finally, you get back to the tree and find Tamika sitting on the bench. Without a word, you sit next to her. You look over to her, doing your best not to stare. She looks down, crossing her arms and putting her hands on her shoulders. In an instant, the ferocious savage disappears, replaced by a vulnerable young woman. I think I'm done. You feel like sharing? No, but I guess I owe you an explanation. She looks away. You can tell she's struggling to open up to you, so you remain silent, trying not to make her uncomfortable. I was embraced not far from it, in this cemetery. A fitting spot, I suppose. It was close to a decade ago. I had been on the road for a couple of years at that point, hitchhiking from one town to another. New York was supposed to be just another stop. And then I met Jezebel. She was strong, smart, independent. Seemed like someone I could trust, someone I could get close to. She never made me feel inadequate or ashamed. And she could hold her own in a fistfight too. Funny thing though, she only wanted to meet during nighttime. I didn't think much of it. Even came up with an excuse for busy, eccentric, whatever work. Until one night, she sank her teeth into my neck. She sounds like quite a girl. A fighter, a lover, and undead abominations. She sounds like quite a girl. She was. I honestly learned more about her after she was gone. She was the real deal old school gangrel, veteran of the Battle of New York. She looks away, grows reticent for a brief moment. Anyway, she left soon after telling me. I think the conclave of break really shook her up. Wait, the conclave of what now? It's a city in Central Europe. It was supposed to be in neutral ground, a good place to discuss politics and strategy. It ended up was turning into a civil war. Next thing you know, the Anarchs were expunged from the Camarilla. All they had done for our kind, the bloody spill, it didn't amount to a thing. I can't blame Jezebel for feeling betrayed. But yeah, even though I still had Raoul and Luca, I was still furious and terrified. Luca died a few years later, Operation Lysa, they call it. It was a coordinated assault by the Second Inquisition and genocide by any other name. Her family got together, brought up a plot and buried an empty casket. I guess they wanted some closure. Can't fault them for that. Even though she's not really here, I like to come and visit from time to time. It reminds me of who I am, keeps me in check, keeps the beast at bay. Also, this being the place of my embrace, you have to appreciate that level of irony. She straightens up, looks at you as if something just occurred. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. One minute I'm all grunts and stares, the next I'm giving you my biography. I guess I'm just tired of being scared alone. You're looking for a place to belong. In all the wrong places, seems. At this point, I'm just looking for something to believe in. Someone I could give a damn about. You have Raoul. You have me, yeah. Are you really going to do this right now? This sounds rather, cliche. At the very least. You know what? I'm going to do it. You got me, for whatever it's worth. She looks at you. Her mouth drops open, ever so slightly. You can tell she wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I do, don't I? You open your mouth, but before you can make a sound, Tamika motions at you to keep quiet. She lifts her head and sniffs the air. Her ears poke up, her eyes widen. Suddenly she pushes you with all her strength, sending you flying off the bench. Before you even hit the ground, an immense ship flies into view and smashes down to the bench, splintering it into pieces. With the blood surging through your veins, you pounce onto your feet. You look at the mass of fur and muscle that just nearly pulverized you. The creature rears its head, gives you a deranged stare. It then turns to Tamika. She seems utterly terrified, frozen in place, as if she literally just saw a ghost. You notice the creature shave its weight, as if preparing to pounce. Get the creature's attention. Before the monster can attack Tamika, you let out a soft yell, drawing its attention to yourself. Before you know it, you're lying on your back, feeling as if someone just dropped a 16-ton weight on your chest. The smell of wet fur fills your nostril. It takes a second for the pain to register, but when it does, oh boy. Your screams echo off of the surrounding tombstone. It's unlikely they have awoken the dead, but feels might have stirred in their slumber. Suddenly the beast still crouched on top of you, lets out pain roar. In a flash of consciousness, you see Tameka hunched atop the monster's shoulders, her claws plunging into its eye sockets. Floundering like a fish out of water, the monster finally manages to shake the pharaoh vampiric off his back. The creature then turns towards you. For a second or two, it moves its mouth awkwardly, as if trying to remember how to form words. Stay out my ground. The creature runs up towards a nearby clearing, when all of a sudden a gunshot sends it tumbling onto the ground. A group of well-armed men in body armor emerge from the shadows around it, moving closer in orderly formation. Retreat and hide. Not sure what to make of what's happening, you figure it's best to get out of sight. As you start backing away into the nearby bushes, you notice Tameka following your lead. From the relative safety of the thick foliage, you watch in silence as a group of armors subdue the creature using steel nets and catapults. In the corner of your eye, you catch Tameka looking away as if she's found this whole spectacle somehow distasteful. She speaks under her breath, her voice shaking. Can we get out of here? You see no reason to object. The walk back turns to be a quiet and somber experience. You both walk in silence, the city of lights and car careening by. You look over to Tamika. She seems lost in her thoughts. Finally, you decide to break the silence. Any idea who those guys were? Do you have any idea who these guys were? They look like they knew what they were doing. They did. They spent their whole lives either training or hunting our kind. They are the Second Inquisition. It's been a while since I saw them operating in New York. I would never expect them to go after the scared one. Hell, until today, I wasn't even sure he existed. The scared one. That's the only name he's known by. It's a cautionary tale for young gangrel. It's what happens when you let the beast take over. I always figure him as a mob metaphor. Seeing him in real life is like if a Christian just happened to run into Judas Iscariot one day. And seeing him hunted down by the SI, I don't know what to think. I don't even know what to start thinking. You're starting to give us some space. You spend the rest of the walk in silence. Soon enough, the familiar tree-lined Prospect Park comes into view. You stop at the entrance nearest to Tameka Haven. She keeps walking without word or so much as a glance in your direction. She stops after several pace and turns back towards you. I'm sorry, thank you for coming with me. But now I have a lot of shit to figure out. Once I do, I'll let you know. And with that, she disappears among the trees. Seeing no point in sticking around, you take your leave. Okay, we need to rest now. The Battle of the Cloisters. A tapping on the window, a small grayish bird flying off, a small piece of paper left on the windowsill. Prospect ASAP, Tamika. As you open the blinds, you're able to spot a small grayish bird flying up into the night. Looking down, you notice a small piece of paper on the windowsill. Prospect ASAP, Tamika. Third time's the charm, you think to yourself, as you once again cross the gate at Prospect Park and head for Tameka's Haven. To your surprise, you find her out in the open, sitting on the lawn, surrounded by a host of woodland creatures, birds and squirrels mostly. The creatures patiently await their turn as she flicks seeds at them. It looks almost whimsical, in a twisted sort of way. You wanna... How are you holding up? How are you holding up? Well enough, all things considered. She scatters the remaining seeds onto the grass and hops to her feet. I've been doing some digging. The Inquisition got a safe house up in Manhattan. I think that's where they're keeping him. The scare one, I mean. I want to pay them a visit, kill that thing, and as many of those SI bastards as I can along the way. Isn't that a breach of Masquerade? Attacking a government safe house. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that be considered a breach of the Masquerade? Yeah. And that's the least of our worries. Throw in a legion of armed ghouls standing in our way, and an all-powerful vampire is the cherry on top. Look, I'm not stupid. I know it's risky as hell, and I'm well aware I might not be coming back. Still, it's something I have to do, with or without your help. Does Raoul know about this? Just out of curiosity, does Raoul know about this master plan of yours? He does now. He emerged from the shadows a mere few feet away from you. Son of a gun finally managed to speak up, aren't you? Tamika eyeballs him as he gets closer. You've seen that look before. She's clearly asserting her position, but this time it comes off as a formality, rather than an actual challenge. How long have you been there? Long enough. I'm still not buying the whole scare one bullcrap, but taking a bite out of the Inquisition collective as it's just too good to pass up. I want it. Believe it or not, just be ready for it. Call it the scale and send out the tooth fairy. Just know that it's very and very dangerous. Fine. Consider me fairly warned. Now, can we move this along? I'm itching to kill me some SI fox. I guess we could use the help. We'll need all the help we can get, yeah. You deserve to be there, to see the scale one with his own eyes. Plus my brother can be a pain in the ass, but he's one hell of a fighter. He nods, a smile creeps up in the corner of his mouth. It's barely visible, but you can tell it's pleasing to no end. She might as well have rubbed his tummy. Glad we're all on the same page. It's settled then, let's go. Fucking finally. And with that, you leave the relatively safe, the Prospect Park, steeling yourself for things to come. As you get closer to your destination, you get the sneaking suspicion that Tamika's been pulling your leg. Following her lead, you take a turn from Broadway into Fortune Park. It doesn't seem to make sense to think to yourself. There's only one spot between here and the Hudson River, but it can't be, can it? Sure enough, as some stone facade of the cloister comes into view, Tamika motions at you to keep outside. How the hell is this run into a trap? A hideout of the Second Inquisition. The cloister, seriously? That's the Inquisition safe house? Talk about hiding in plain sight, huh? This place used to be a lot of things, now it serves as a staging ground for the Inquisition. If my sources are to be trusted, and they usually are, they brought him here for what they call processing. Doubt they'll keep him here for long, though. If we're gonna get to him, it's now or never. Except until a group of armed guards walk out of the museum, pushing Gunny with a last steel container on top of it. As they wheel it out into the open, a truck approaches. The operative starts preparing to load the crate onto the vehicle. You scan the area, trying to do a head count. Tamika beats you to it. I count at least 7. Probably more inside. We should do this quietly. Take them out one by one. Ralph frowns. I say we go in guns blazing. Figuratively speaking, if there's more inside, let them come. The more the merrier. Let's try the stealthy approach. Tamika's right. We should get in quietly. Take them out one by one. Tamika nods in silence. Fine, let's do this already, before you two bother me to find it dead. You split up, aiming to cover as much ground as possible. Sticking to the shadows, you advance, keeping track of one another progress. You hardly even notice as Tamika takes out the first guard, not even a peep out of him. Trying to keep up. Raul kills the one to your left. He's sloppy, taking his sweet ass time, bleeding the guy out. What is dying breath? What is dying breath? The man lets out yelp, grabbing the attention of one of his comrades. With the guards fast approaching, one of your options. Slice his throat with your fangs. As the guard walks by, you leap out of the shadows and use the sharpest weapon you have on you, your fangs, to slice his throat open. When his windpipe's severe, he lets out a silent gurgle as he expires. Carefully, you lay his dead body on the dirt. Looking to the side, you notice Raul looking back at you. He nods, looking almost semi-impressed. 3 down, 4 to go. You keep a steady pace, moving across the courtyard, picking the guards one by one. Tamika does it, par 3 to go. Raul gets messy again, and this time he's quiet. With only 2 of them left, you pick one for yourself and gesture at one of your fellows to take care of the other. Tamika's quieter, but Raul's closer. Which one would it be? Have Tamika take him out. You wave your hand at Tam, pointing at her final target. She nods and starts making her way towards him. Suddenly, by virtue of sheer luck, he turns around just as she's about to pounce. His scream is quick and muffled, but still loud enough for the very last guard to hear. As all three of you approaching, the dire reality of the situation hits him like a ton of bricks. Paralyzed with fear, he keeps shooting his aim from you to Tameka to Raoul. He's severely fucking, he knows it. And since you're standing closest to him, you might as well do the honors. Fitting opportunity. You walk over to the quivering mess that mere minutes ago thought himself the toughest of the top. Before he can react, you slap the gun out of his hand, lean in and smile. Aye. Half a second later, your fangs are already halfway to his windpipe. The blade tastes sour, with a hint of cowardice and regret. Could have gone out with a bang. Chose to go out with a gurgle. Oh well. With the SI operative's second calf, you turn your attention to the container sitting in the middle of the courtyard. Using your combined strength, you make quick work of the steel door. And just like that, we managed to get rid of the hunger as well. As you walk in, the moonlight from behind you illuminates a twisted figure huddled on the floor. It's hard to believe that the thing lies before you, beaten and tortured. Within an inch of his own life is the same creature you fought back at the cemetery. What the fuck is that thing? It's what happens when you lose control. When you let the beast take over. His lips move silently, as if searching for the right words. He looks to you, and turns to his sister, as if waiting for a sign. For a moment, Tamika just stands there. She looks down at the scale one, the one fearful boogeyman, whose vermission would strike terror in the hearts of her tribe, now reduced to a whimpering pile of flesh. Finally, she turns to you with a look of childish innocence mixed with confusions. Then she looks back at the scared one. You can tell she's lost. Damn, what the hell are you waiting for? Let's kill this thing and get out of here. It's your choice, Tamika. I can't make it for you. She turns to you with a look of pride mixed with desperation. I'm not asking you to. Do it, Tamika. You know he deserves it. Hell, it looks like you will be doing him a favor. He has made his choice a long time ago. You don't have to. Oh, so you're going to take her place, huh? That's what you want? No, I'm not going to do that. Whatever you do, there will be consequence. Do what you will, just be ready to live with the consequence. Suddenly, the very air around you seems to thicken. You look over to Tamika. She's not quivering anymore. She walks up to the scared one. The pitiful creature presses itself into the corner in a desperate and futile attempt to crawl away. Without a word, she grabs him by the ears, sinking her claws in the sides of his head. She looks him dead in the eye, her voice surprisingly warm, almost soothing. You can rest now, brother. In one flirt motion, she twists his neck off his shoulder. The snapping sound is both sickening and satisfying. The empty husk of the once fearful beast falls to the floor like a slab of meat. Jesus, Tom. That was... What the hell was that? Closure. Hopefully some closure. Standing outside the steel container, the three of you take a moment to gather your thoughts. You look at one another, at the blood staining your hands, close and face. In the pale moonlight, it appears black and shiny, like a fresh ink stain on a fresh sheet of paper. Without another word, you head back towards the city lights. The journey back takes longer than it did the other way around. With bits and pieces of the second Inquisition still stuck to your clothes, you decide to play safe by sticking to back alleys and cutting through dark corners of the city. Tamika keeps several steps ahead, but you and Raoul are quite content to follow her lead. You can tell these last minutes have taken a toll on her, but not necessarily in a bad way. She seems stronger somehow, confident, more in tune with herself. Soon the awkward silence proves unbearable, enough that you're willing to risk making small talk with Raoul. You think she's gonna be alright? Yeah, I think so. You just gotta go figure some stuff out. Our lineage will have a special relationship with the beast. We can either let it control us or become attuned to it. It is a constant struggle, marked with difficult choice. I think time just made one of them. Pondering what you have just heard, the rest of the way barely registered. To your surprise, you suddenly find yourself back at the prospect. Tamika keeps walking. She strides through the park gate like a queen of old, returning after a victorious conquest. You want to call out to her, but Raoul stops you with a gesture. Not yet. Give her some time to process all this shit. She'll let you know when she's ready. And hey, you're dead alright, I mean. Don't get me wrong, you're still an asshole, but yeah, thanks. He smiles at you. Wonder never see you around. And with that he follows in his sister's footsteps. A weird smile creeps up upon your face as you man to the New York night. Alright. A nosy reporter. The street lights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow, as if someone was shooting a movie outside. The art pieces displayed tasteful expense entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. It feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on this premise, most of them under her benevolent hospitality. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people judge me based on how you dress, don't you? Sophie looks at your clothes as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. I have tried to dress inconspicuously because of the masquerade. That's very sensible of you. I suppose I should commend you for that. Sophie walks to the window and looks out, the street lights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitation of her subjects. You would think that as a vampire, at least we wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have power and ability, they always pass are trying to feed on you. Is there a reporter after you? Yes, a terribly persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on the sofa. A wine glass with red liquid in it, blood treated as not to spoil. You have become good at noticing the sand, even from a distance. She doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. This awful man has been stalking my apartment with a Camarilla. He has gone through my trash, talked to the neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there's nothing for him here. It is about the masquerade. That's a big deal for us, right? Indeed, you're learning. This must happen often. How do you usually deal with it? Everyone has their own way. Sometimes the problem goes away with a bit of money of sharp words, other times you need something more. Do you know anything about him? Man, woman, young, or anything like that? All gossip reporters look the same to me. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. You leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. You don't have a clear idea of the games she plays with the city's mortal and immortal power structures, but she always seems to be making a move. Outside on the street there's a slight warm drizzle, the kind that gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own haven. No reporters immediately jumps out at you. Let's use the enhanced sense. New York smells of people, thousands and thousands of them packed together. It takes a moment for you to get to grips with the full panoply of sensation, but once you do, there's one that sticks out. Cheap, after shave, the strong imprint of someone who has hung around the building a lot, strong enough to persist despite their light rain. Style, cigarette smoke, sweat. You follow your hunch, and as you walk closer, you reflect on how sometimes being kindred makes things so easy. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy space between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have worried you, made you think of mockings and violence. Now, it is clear that the most dangerous thing here is you. The man you are following seems to run this who holds his camera in front of him like a shield. Its heavy objective resting in his pouch with a start you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses from a picture next to a byline in some trashy paper you were written to kill time, something about celebrity scandals, sex. His name is Frank Ducati, You saw him on the street one time with a camera outside a nightclub. Probably waiting for someone important to come out so he could take that picture. Hey, don't go around scaring people like that. Oh, I recognize you. You're a fake reporter, right? I'm a reporter, damn it. A lot of scoops in this dirty alley? You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. But you live here and working on a story about local presidents. Her name is Sophie Langley. Everybody knows her in high society circles. She's a redhead, pretty and says a picture. And there are a lot of pictures of her through the years. That's the thing, in fact, look at this. Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites while others are photos from society pages of newspapers from past decades. All shows Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyle, makeup names, but the face remains the same. They're all hot, other than that I'm not sure. Come on, look at the face, it's always the same. I'm going to play dumb here, alright? So, why does this matter? Maybe it doesn't, but people are always interested in staying young. Great words, extreme plastic surgery, all the celebrities do it. Only her doctor is better than the rest. Look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. Hook me up with this miracle doctor. Sure, I guess if you find who's the surgeon is, let me know. I could have some work done. You're right, makes no sense, damn. So how would you explain it? I think it's a hoax. Have you considered that the possibility those pictures are a hoax? Sure, anything can be a hoax, but I dug up those old papers from the archives myself. I got to have something usable. Threaten Frank with legal action. I think I'm going to use dominate on the guy. You look Frank in the eyes. They're red behind his shaded glass veins apart from years of neglecting his body. Suddenly he seems so easy to manipulate. He's nothing but plaster crumpling under your boot. Go home and destroy your research on Sophie Langley. As your vampiric gaze takes over Frank's mind, he feels less than a person and more like an automaton, a machine you can program. Perhaps this is why older vampires are said to think of humans as nothing but animals. How can you consider someone a thinking person with free will when you can override them at any moment? Frank is mumbling, fondling his Camarilla, inching around you to the entrance of the alley. He looks sad and worn as he goes, a man who used to be something, now just a shell. It feels almost embarrassing to use the power of your blood on someone so weak, at least you're pretty sure he'll stay away. I need to get the job done, I don't care. If it looks weak or not, it gets the job done, and without any, problems. That's good enough for me. You come back to your haven after long, like on the town. There's still some time before the sun comes up, but sometimes you just need a little break, relax, watch TV. As you open the door to your haven, it's clear something is wrong. You hear moaning from within. Stepping cautiously in, you see a man lay on the floor, 40 strong build, wearing a black suit, one of Sophie's servants. His face is a mess and this piece of bone sticking out of his leg. The ghoul moans through his broken teeth, only half conscious. Just as you're about to do something, the door to the apartment flies up the hinge and a loud crash behind your back. Freeze, don't move. You turn around to see at least 6 police officers storm your apartment, 2-point guns in your face while the rest spread out to check the other rooms. One little car pushed past you into the living room. There's a body here. We're going to need an ambulance. He's still breathing. Be wider. You gather your wits. There must be some way out of this ridiculous situation. Presence. Calm the cops down. Let's calm down. This is all a big misunderstanding. The cops hesitate and lower their guns. Can you explain what's going on here? As the rest of the police search the apartment, you decide the best course of action is to buy time. You're glad you follow Sophie's rule that A haven should never have anything that endangers. What the hell is going on here? The text is all messed up. I heard a noise and came in. I came in because I heard a noise. Of course, sir. It is your apartment, sir. Suddenly you hear a commotion out in the hall. Sophie walks into the apartment surrounded by an entourage of serious-looking men and women in dark clothes. Some of them flash badge at the upper officers present. You feel the power of Sophie's blood, almost like a physical sensation in your skin. There's no saying no to her. This man was with me when this terrible act of violence occurred. He has an airtight alibi. You have rarely seen Sophie wield the full extent of her powers. You're not sure how much is supernatural ability and how much bribery and political connection. It doesn't matter. The injured man was with me. He must be hospitalized in this instant. If he doesn't enjoy full recovery, there will be consequence. For 15 minutes, you watch as Sophie imperiously orders the police officer around. Some of the people she brought with her also seem to be police, but you're not sure. You catch Sophie grimacing in the direction of an empty corner, and some things tells you that there might be a third man by the apartment, stalkers, perhaps. The injured man gets carried away on the stretcher. The cops leave without even checking your ID. Will there be problems? No, the police knows to avoid this house. This was an anomaly. The stalker was here, but now she left. Her name is Adelaide Davis. In case you were wondering, a lunatic, truly one of the more pestilent clans. Can we talk to her? Yes, we can. We have to, in fact. I'll arrange a little chat with Miss Davis. Later, you will join me in Elysium and deal with this problem like the vampire you are, with words. Sophie leaves you alone. The idea of spending the day in a haven that's just been raided by the police seems risky, but you decide to trust in Sophie's assurance. It's not like you have anything else to go on. They're missing one word there. Wounded War Song. It's been some time since that kindred historian, will no doubt refers to the battle of course, still know her from Tameka. But this time you drop by and see how she's doing. Somebody's watching me. Confront her with Sophie by your side. I'm going to do this. Somebody's watching me. Let's get it done. Visiting the Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You are a nobody. You have always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you come in with her. Everybody notices her, and she drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. You spot the woman Sophie's referring to. Adelaide, your stalker, intense, disheveled, young-looking, or mouth caving, if you have understood correctly. As you approach, Adelaide looks at you with undisguised hate. My two favorite people. I love you too, Adelaide.